Hi, everybody. We're going to get started shortly. There's a Mark Slater in the attendee list. Mark, forgive me, I don't remember. Who are you with?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm the Vice President of Operations with Z Trip here in Colorado Springs. And so I got the invitation to attend this meeting, so I thought I've got about 45 minutes that I can be on it, so I thought I'll jump on and see if there's something that I can learn and maybe there's something that I can contribute. Should I be on this? Am I supposed to be on this call?
Nope, you're good. You're good. The calls are open to the public. The only thing they're not open to is dreaded spam bombers who say inappropriate things. Since we didn't recognize your name, we wanted to make sure you're good. So yep, you can stay and listen and ask questions and all that other good stuff. So,
Terrific, terrific. I presumed as much. Thanks. Nice to be here.
yep, thank you. And then I think that is it. And let's see, I think we have quorum. Yeah, we have quorum. Don't we? No? All right, I think, and Victoria's the chair still, right? Madam Chair, we've come to the appointed time and place, and you do have a quorum. You may call the meeting to order at your discretion.
Good, thank you, John. Today we are having our Transportation Advisory Committee, July 16th, 2026. We do have a quorum. Let's start off with some introductions. I'll start Victoria Chavez, El Paso County. Do you want to go around the room first and then we'll go back to online?
That would be great.
Thanks, Victoria. I'll kick it off for the folks in the room. Gail Sturdivant, the City Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director for Colorado Springs.
Todd Frisbee, City Traffic Engineering.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lindsay Hawkes, CDOT Region 2 Planning.
Hi, Scott Skinner, Transit Liaison for Region 2.
Good afternoon, Matthew Helfant, MMT.
Beth Dukes, Commute Planner at Pearson Space Force Base.
Josh Squires, PPACG.
And Madam Chair, that does it for everybody in the room except for Will Mast, who you'll hear from shortly in the audience, and Tommy, who's running all the AV. We can go through the list of the virtual attendees, and I'm happy to help if you would like that assistance.
I would love that assistance. Thank you, John.
All right. First, could when I call your name, go ahead and unmute and tell us where you're from. Andrew Archuleta.
Andrew Archuleta, Town of Monument and Public Works.
Benjamin Schmidt.
Ben Schmidt, Public Services Director and City Engineer, City of Manatee Springs.
Geoff Guthrie, or his friends call him Jeff.
The one and only CDOT Region 2 Planner down here in Pueblo. Apologies for not being there in person for like the second time ever.
And then, Madam Chair, your name is next, but I think you've already introduced yourself. And then with the other attendees, we have our consultants, Richard Driscoll and Christina Leach are here. And I think John Hall, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, John Hall, CDOT North Program.
I think that's everybody. Oh, I did not see her. And we have Aaron Willis from CDOT. Aaron, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Aaron Willis, CDOT Division of Transportation Development Headquarters Office.
And with that, Madam Chair, I think we have gotten everybody.
Wonderful. So do we have any public comments or presentations today? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm rushing ahead of myself. Agenda approval. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, this is Gail Sturdivant. I vote we approve the agenda as distributed and published.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Matthew Helfant, Mountain Metro. Oh. Mountain Metro Transit. I second.
Thank you, Matthew. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So do we have any public comments or presentations today?
Madam Chair, we have not received any advanced requests for public comment. At this time, if there's anybody online who wishes to address the august body of tech, please raise your hand and we can unmute you now. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Madam Chair, we appear to have no online comments and can proceed with the agenda at your discretion.
Thank you. Item number 4, approval of the meeting minutes. Any comments or changes to the minutes? Okay, hearing none, I am going to abstain since I was not at this meeting, but if we have a motion to approve.
Victoria, this is Gail. I'm also going to abstain because I was also not at the meeting.
Can we kick somebody in the room to get a motion?
Matthew, were you here? I think you were. I think if you're comfortable, yeah.
Matthew Helfand, Mountain Metro Transit. I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Matthew. Do we have a second?
And Ben, I think you might be the only other one that was here looking at the list, but I could be wrong. Ta-da. Oh, Jeff. Come on, Jeff, save us. You were here. Jeff Guthrie.
Can I vote?
I believe you're the official Region 2.
That's right. Sorry,
Was
the
it-
rules are different in my 2 MPOs. All right, I second.
Thank you, Jeff. All
Sorry.
those in favor who are voting other than Gail and I, please say aye. I'm going
Aye.
to take silence as approval. Thank you, Jeff. All right, we'll call that unanimous with 2 abstentions.
Awesome.
So that moves us to a board of director report. Is that Danelle or Jeff today? Or John, sorry, Danelle or John. Danelle, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
As Danelle switches microphones, we will give her a second.
This one's working.
There
Okay,
you go. We can hear you now.
2 items of transportation related that were heard at the board this month. Unified Planning Work Program was released for public comment after the board approval of that. So that is out for a 30-day public comment period. We'll bring that back next month for adoption. The other item of note was that the board of directors approved the Title VI plan and the limited English proficiency plan. And those updates had gone through the process here with the TAC as well. I don't believe there were any other significant items for transportation for the July. Oh, there was a, sorry, Josh, there was a significant. There was a information item on the regional freight plan to give them the draft of the document, and you'll hear more about that later on in this meeting.
Good. Thank you, Danelle. All right, action items. Mr. Mass, streetlight contract renewal.
Hello, I'm William Mast. I'm the GIS and Modeling Manager here with PPACG. And today we're bringing before committee the approval of renewing our streetlight contract for its final year of a 3-year contract. So historically, we have had a traffic data service. It's gone out to RFP about 2 years ago. That RFP was awarded to the streetlight. We have a regional license for all of our member governments to be able to access. It's unlimited in terms of the analysis and users that we can have. And we have 1 more year left on that contract that we can renew without having to go through RFP again. Historically, the local match was paid by El Paso County and Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs paid for the local match in its entirety last year, and they've offered to do so again this year. That covers $49,736.90. The remaining service price comes out of Surface Transportation Block Grant funds, which were included in our most recent tip. So that's already been accounted for. All we need is authorization, approval to renew the contract and get us set up for another year. That would be 2027 calendar year of regional traffic data service with Streetlight. Again, next year we will not have a renewal. If we want to continue with a service, we will do an RFP and once again solicit vendors to compete and see what other services are out there. Are there any questions on this?
Oh,
Hearing, please, Gail.
yeah, Victoria, so I just want to speak on behalf of Colorado Springs. So we are committed, as it's detailed in the memo, to provide the local match for this for 2027. But we would like to have a discussion, if we can, about the timing and interest in RFP with the member governments today, if possible, because we feel like it would be better for us to start the RFP process now in preparation for 2028. So we have the ability to refine the RFP and potentially even consider RFIs with some of the potential vendors. I don't know, Todd, if there's anything else you'd like to add to that. So anyway, that's just my comment, but let me read the motion here. But I recommend renewal. So my motion is to recommend renewal of the current traffic data service with Streetlight for the last contract year, 2027. And following the vote, I'd like to have a follow-on discussion about the RFP.
Thank you, Gail. Do we have a second for the motion? Calling for a second.
Matthew Helfand, MMT. I'll second the motion.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Gail, do you have a time frame in mind, or do you just want to talk about doing it earlier?
Well, yeah, for the two things. So I want to gauge other member governments' interest in participating. I know that we are light on participants today. We're just barely making the quorum, but I want input if the city, the county, if Manitou, Woodland Park, all the other jurisdictions, they'd be interested in having this data. And if not, and then if the answer is yes, then I'd like to lay out a timeline so we could have the RFP out in sometime in Q1 of 2027 and identify between now and then if we want to have any kind of RFI discussions or solicitation, if that makes sense. That's what I'm proposing, Victoria. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I think it is a good idea to start that process earlier. They tend to take longer than we think they will. I certainly would be interested in looking at some other options, especially given the rural areas of our county not having great coverage. So I would be very interested in seeing what is also out there, or potentially what improvements Streetlight would be making, and help to compare those. I'm betting my traffic engineer would also be willing to participate in that, but would like to open up to other jurisdictions and hear what they have to say. Ben, please.
Yeah, thanks. We utilize this tool pretty frequently, but I agree with Gail's comments that I think it's worth exploring, seeing what other options are out there that may be able to provide some different data as well. But yeah, we'd be happy to help in development of that RFI if we needed to as well to move forward.
Yeah, and Victoria, this is Gail again. Todd would like to volunteer, and if you could tell your traffic engineer to be on this RFI development committee, and if whoever at the PPACG staff, if it's you will, that they could work with you and help even develop the questions that need to be asked or what we would want from an RFI from potential vendors. Since we're the end users, and Ben, it sounded like you may be willing as well, or somebody on your team, and I'm sure others would want to jump in too once they hear about it, just to give input, to be able to see what's out there. So we can get good quality data, both in the urban area and the rural area, and two, to see if there's even potential for lower cost options. I'd also like, through this RFI, building in a time period too, for us to even talk with other jurisdictions that have used this data outside of streetlight data we currently have contact with. I say that because I met with a jurisdiction who was using 3 platforms at the time. They were really doing a demo to see which one they found the most accurate, and they were comparing it with field data. And depending on the modality of the location, sometimes stuff was very accurate and sometimes it was very inaccurate. And so I'd like to have the team to have ability to go and talk with end users and get their experience.
So are you looking for an RFI or an RFP in Q1 next year?
I would like to see the RFI this year get started. We may need to work on the timeline, so let me know. I understand that I'm being very optimistic because 6 months seems like a lot of time, but it's not when you're talking about a public solicitation. But if we could work with establish a working group to help put an RFI out, that I would actually like to see in, if possible, Q4 of this year. And then if necessary, if the working committee feels like that RFI needs to push into Q1 of next year, fine. But that requires a quick turnaround to really have those interviews, review that data, potentially do check on references, and then put an RFP out. So I'd like to rush the RFI so we have time to put a good RFP out and not be rushed at the back end. If that's necessary, if that makes sense.
It does. One of the things to keep in mind is the benefits of going through PPACG is our requirements, I don't think, are nearly as strenuous as like what you guys have in the city. So like we could have an RFI out, and I can have that done in like a week if you wanted to start looking at this stuff. If we want to do the RFP, we could turn an RFP out pretty quick too. And make sure that whoever wanted to have eyes on it can get eyes on it. It's not going to be laborious to put this out. So Q1 is easily done for either option here.
Can I make a proposal that you provide a draft RFI and
Yeah, we'll
send it to
follow
the
up.
working
Yeah.
committee, and they can just supplement what you have from it? And what they would be supplemented would be the technical asks of these vendors.
Yeah, we'll send out what we put out before because we had good response with it. And then you guys can, whoever is interested, let me know. I send it out to anybody that wants to be on this committee, and you guys can add or modify whatever you want on the technical aspects. I get contacts from all of Streetlight's competitors almost monthly. So, yeah, asking, how's it going? You wanna talk again? So, I'm not sure that we're gonna have a problem getting a response either way.
Is your RFI going to be structured where we can have vendors come in and do a demonstration presentation?
Yeah, the language that we had last time is that it's not required, but it's favorable.
Okay.
So that way, even if they don't offer demos, we could at least get information and know who's out there. I forget what company was pretty aggressive with us before. Something like, yeah, I think you know, because they were hassling you too. So some of them are really eager to give us demos. Some don't give demo, like they won't let us have a trial license, but they will just do a demo. Either way, the language that we had allows either options, so that way we know who's out there and can either see it work, or if better, get a trial subscription to check it out.
Will, would you mind sending an email out to TAC members, since we have such light participation today, and ask if anybody would like to be on that selection committee?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that. I'm just thinking, I don't actually have the TAC email address, but by golly, somebody's got it here at PPACG. We'll make sure it goes out.
And one of the reasons why I want to push this timeline too, and understand if other member governments are going to be willing to participate, because if others don't want to participate, like if we find there's not a solution that the county would be happy with, the city is going to go this on alone, and we need time to put an RFP together too, and fund that. So
Yeah.
thank you, appreciate it.
Gail, let me just ask you real quick. Do you think that we could just do it under an RFP? So if we wanted to just move into contracting, we could? Or is there some benefit to an RFI that I'm not seeing off the top of my head?
I think I think there's benefit to RFI because it doesn't commit us to anything, and we may come back and see, yeah, there's nothing really that kind of meets all of our requirements, and then and maybe that would be at that point PBACG says, well, I don't know, you guys may still want it for your own purposes in validating models and things like that, but I think that might sort of inform us later on, because our tip shows us committing money in the future years, but if we in the end that's 200 and some thousand that frees up for something else. So I think there is some benefit to an RFI, at least early on, just kind of because things seem to be changing all the time. They seem to have new data, or they claim to have new data, and they claim to do different things. And I've learned a little bit more through the years with working with Streetlight, what's capable, what's not capable, what's accurate, not accurate. And some of the things I'm seeing lately is that some of the numbers, even in the urban areas, I feel like are coming in low, especially in some that compared to on the ground counts. So I'd be interested to see what's out there.
Yeah, and I would really like to use it, Victoria, to inform a requirements matrix, and be able to have them come and demonstrate those things and the requirements, and just divide that into the must-haves or would like to have category. And I think we can say what we would look for from an urban standpoint, but I would suspect Scott Barnhart might be looking for slightly different things, just given the nature of the rural nature of most of the county. And not to speak for Manitou and Ben, but I'm going to pick on you a little bit because you're on. I know that historically Manitou's used that a lot, and you have a lot of real-time data to validate it, but being able to have that ability from a smaller community perspective to be able to weigh in on what's a must-have, what's a nice-have, and whether or not you want to commit any funding to it.
Yeah, thank you, Gail. I agree with your comments.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll get an email out to TAC members, see who else wants to participate, and go from there.
I have one quick question for you, Madam Chair. In the past, CDOT has mentioned some desire, but every time we talk to the vendor, it's, oh, well, then you're buying a state license and now it's a gazillion trillion dollars. Is there, just to make sure that nothing has changed at either the state level or the vendor approach, is there any issue with us reaching out to CDOT and seeing if they want to be included in the development, and if things work out, that would be another pocket to look into for perhaps future funding. So if there's no objection, I can touch base with Jason Nelson and kind of go from there. But if you guys are uncomfortable with that, I'm happy to not say anything at all.
CDOT, any thoughts, comments off the top of your head? I see Jeff, you came off camera or on camera.
I did. I know that Medora Bornhoft, who presented about MMOF last month to this august body, was talking to, I forget the lady's name, Rachel something, at our headquarters about this exact matter. So John, let's connect after this and get the correct parties together and then go from there.
For what it's worth, CDOT does have a streetlight license that they use. Their statewide modeling team has it. I don't know who else in CDOT has access to it. MPOs have access to it, but local governments do not.
Thanks, Will. That's some good clarity.
Thank you, Jeff, because I would like to have CDOT in that. I know that Scott sat in on the selection committee for CDOT's product. So I know he has some information and thoughts about that. So I think, yeah, including CDOT in that conversation is a good idea, John. And I'm sorry, I'm having weak signal, so I had to go off camera.
This is Matthew Helfand from MMT. I would like our data analyst, Tara Evans, to be to participate in the RFI. So her email address is tara.evans, EVANS, at coloradosprings.gov.
I am sure PPACG will add that to the TAC list and get that out. All right, any final thoughts on streetlight? All right, hearing none, our next item is the regional freight draft plan. Thank you, Will. Release for public comment, Josh.
Hi, good afternoon, Tech. Thank you for being here today. We have the freight plan in front of you. You guys saw this last month. I went through our committees with no significant comments. There was some comments in the CAC regarding the Front Range passenger rail and how that plan relates to that. So discussion was discussed on that. Only changes that were made to the document was some of the language around the Front Range passenger rail. And those are the only changes from when you guys saw the document last. Our consultants are online if the committee has any questions, but we're looking to get a recommendation to the board of directors to release the plan for its required 30-day public comment period.
Madam Chair, I have one question. I know you said that there were some changes in the plan related to the Front Range passenger rail. Could you summarize the nature of those changes?
Yeah, I can jump in here, Josh. Yeah, it was relatively minor. It was around some of the way that the language was phrased. There was a lot of reflection on, I've got my notes pulled up here, so forgive me, I'll read through them as well, on adding a level of specificity that we didn't necessarily have. And so the wording looks at response to that directly, but it was largely just some language cleanup. I will add also there was we added a paragraph around the truck ADT section in the existing conditions chapter to highlight some of the Colorado state routes that are important to both Teller and Park County for their resources, their, I guess I'll call them minerals facilities.
And if I could add, Gail, I think I want to be a little more blunt to in a response to your question. When the document was being reviewed internally here at PPACG, a concern was raised that perhaps our language was overly supportive of Front Range passenger rail and not more matter of fact. If Front Range passenger rail gets passed, then this. And again, we just have to be very careful. Again, we're not trying to take sides one way or the other. And it looked like the language was maybe a little bit too supportive. So we went back again, based on that internal comment, and asked the consultant to just be more matter of fact of it. So I just want to make sure that when we say, oh, we did this stuff, this is why it happened and this is what the net effect is. So I just want to be clear on that.
Thank you, John, and good question, Gail. Any other questions on the plan before we go to a motion? Okay, hearing none. Would somebody like to move approval to have this released to the public?
Yes, Victoria, this is Gail. I recommend that the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments Board of Directors release the draft regional freight plan for public comment.
Gail, do we have a second?
Ben Schmidt, City of Manitou, I second.
Thank you, Ben. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. We are on to item number 7, information items. Congestion management process, Danelle.
Yes, thank you. So today I'm just mostly sharing a kind of scheduling update here on the congestion management process. So last month I brought the updated objectives for the CMP and also the previous network definitions for just for discussion at the TAC. And following that TAC meeting, I kind of realized that I had not done a good job in my scheduling of taking a look at what items we really needed TAC involvement with and at what in what timeframes. So I kind of took a step back and worked with the team internally. They're working on revising some of those maps based on those CMP network definitions, as well as some of that congestion and safety analysis right now. And that way we can come back to you next month with an updated set of those congestion management process network maps. And that way you'll be able to see as a group much more clearly what's missing from those. Are there gaps perhaps in the definitions or things that we need to address? So next month in August, we'll be taking a look at those maps a little bit more clearly and those definitions, and we'll determine at TAC whether or not TAC is happy to keep those and move forward, or whether we need to hold some kind of a workshop to discuss those particular definitions, which is what we did back in the 2022 process. Following that, we will in subsequent months kind of share some of that revised congestion mapping and analysis with the group. Again, that way we can have any additional information that you all may have. We'll also need to do some level of evaluation that we didn't really have in the 2022 document. And so we'll probably need some assistance from some TAC members for that process. Later on this year, we'll go into reviewing that scoring system that we used in the CMP that then became the basis for the long range transportation plan scoring. Again, we'll ask if the TAC would like a workshop or how we would like to address that. We want to make sure that we take what we can from the CMP and learn from the process that was done a couple of years ago and use that as a good start for our long range transportation plan. We'll also around November time period, look at the congestion management toolbox, see if there's any recommended updates there, any perhaps new technologies or new things that you guys might be using, or anything in the toolbox that might need to be just adjusted or removed even. And then following that, this is not a hard schedule. There are no federally required deadlines associated with this, but we wanted to be a little bit more deliberate in just moving forward and how we're bringing things to you. So just wanted to share this with the group, and we'll look forward to having more discussion in August.
Thank you, Danelle. Always helpful to have a schedule. Did you want any input from TAC about workshops or not at this point?
If you have an opinion now, yeah, we're happy to hear it. If you just want to wait until we have some more actual information for you to look at, we're happy to wait on it too.
Anybody would like to share any thoughts on the schedule, or if certain topics warrant a workshop? Happy to take that input right now.
Victoria, this is Gail. I think that as we go and review the scoring system, we may likely want to have a workshop on that particular topic.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gail. I completely agree with you. That is always a good one to do in a workshop.
Yeah, and can I suggest, and I don't remember if we did this last time, But it might be worthwhile having a couple scenarios because as I recall, I think one of the challenges we're seeing is that the scores are end up being very close. There's really not a lot of distinction. And really recognizing projects that could truly recognize congestion mitigation versus the opposite. So anyway, just something to think about. And then I would ask the PPACG staff, and I'm sure we can, both the city and county and others could give you suggestions on how to show what the input would be based on some scoring scenarios.
Would be happy to have some input on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think my only caveat is as long as no one says, oh, all you got to do is buy this data source from blank that costs $10,000 a year. I don't have any money for data that more than what we have. So as long as we don't name something that is cost prohibitive, you guys can tell us what you want and we'll be happy to accommodate.
I think we're talking about a pretty simplistic spreadsheet exercise.
Simplistic is my middle name.
I knew that already.
Any other thoughts from other people? All right, I think we should plan on a workshop for scoring and the rest we will figure out as we go along. Danelle, always getting workshops scheduled earlier and get them on our calendar is better for us to make it. So
Yes,
thank
will
you for
do.
your work on that. Yep, appreciate it. And I'm sorry, I'm flipping back to my agenda. Give me 1 second. Our next item is regional pavement condition inspection. Will.
Hello again. We were notified about a week ago that Colorado Springs Public Works is going to begin its next pavement condition inspection, PCI. Historically, we've been able to partner with Colorado Springs Public Works on their PCI for other local member governments who might want to piggyback on that contract. If anybody is interested in piggybacking on that contract, the way it typically goes is you will be invited then to participate in the RFP to help select a vendor to score basically all the responses that come in, and then make sure that you have an inventory that is submitted to include for inspection. PPACG can typically help local governments who are piggybacking on this contract by partnering in the fund for some of the funding. We can do about 83% of the cost, and then the local government would only have to cover the remaining like 17.21% of the actual inspection cost. And historically, we've done this for Manitou Springs, Fountain. I think last time was with Woodland Park. The conditions are, though, is we can only help with those roads that are federally classified, FHWA. So local roads are in 100% the responsibility of the local government. But if it's classified with the feds as a minor collector, major collector, an arterial, principal arterial, then inspection on those roads is something that we can probably help out with. As John mentioned, we don't have a whole lot of money left in our data services budget, but we do have some money. So if any of our MPO jurisdictions are interested in maybe piggybacking on this contract and participating, please let me know. What we can do is we can do a quick inventory and let you know what roads qualify for assistance. And if that's something that is worthwhile to you, then we can make sure that you're included in the RFP and put in with this contract. Just because we can't assist with all roads, again, we could split this up where we help with the roads that are functionally classified with FHWA, but you then, again, the local government can still have the PCI done on all of their local roads as part of this contract as well and save some money that way. I think that's how we did it with Woodland Park last time, is I think they did everything and we assisted with just those roads that were eligible for assistance. Any questions on this? I know it can get a little bit confusing on what qualifies or not, but if it's something that your government is interested in, please reach out. I know that they're looking to try and get the RFP out fairly soon, I think in September, and that way work can begin in spring of 2027. So if you're interested, please reach out. I'd be happy to go ahead and run a quick analysis and give you a quick map or a breakdown of how many centerline miles would be eligible. We can help out with and see if that's something that anybody would like to participate in. Thank you.
Any questions for Will? Okay. Thank you, Will, for coordinating that. I have a feeling somebody from El Paso County is going to be reaching out to you.
We look forward to it.
All right. FTA Section 5310 introduction, Lisa.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can plainly see, I am not Lisa, but Lisa is not able to join us today. Her plan was to join us remotely from the Safety Summit up in Grand Junction. Is that right? But unfortunately, the hotel kicked her out of the office space. So I will be playing the part of Lisa today. Can you pull up her PowerPoint, please? Just as background, a few years back, PPACG became the designated recipient for 5310 funds. Previous to that, it was the City of Colorado Springs and MMT that had done it. But when it sort of moved over to PPACG, we are now responsible for the planning and programming of those funds. She has on the slide here, you don't need me to read it to you, of some of the eligibility requirements of the 5310 funds. If you do need to have the correct service, was it door through door service, then it has to be open to the public. You can't be a closed system to be eligible. And there's approximately $750,000 that would be available through this call. Next slide, please. While he's calling up the next slide, I'll let you know that, again, this is one of those things that we're doing it for the 1 year's worth of funding because we don't know what the Surface Transportation Reauthorization Act will bring as far as the apportionments for future years. But it is our hope that because this is a cumbersome process, one for us, and two for the agencies that are participating in it, as well as it would be nice for the participating agencies to have some assurity of what funding they have into the future. We would really like to be able to move to a 2 or 3 year cycle. But again, because of the federal reauthorization, that is not possible. So this will be a 1 year call, but hopefully in future years, we will be able to extend that. Lisa wanted to make sure everybody knew that we will be putting together a technical review subcommittee. And again, that's the folks that review all of the applications and score them. We will be coming to the TAC in the future to ask for a representative. I think last year, Lisa just sort of said, oh, I'll get someone from the TAC and then grab somebody. That was something that through the process was commented on that, hey, to make sure we're not just handpicking the folks here at PPACG that we want. And so we make sure that it actually moves through the committee process where possible. So we'll be asking TAC for a volunteer or a voluntold to sit on this committee and review the applications and participate. Our CAC will be the same thing. We will ask the CAC to participate in it, as well as the Mobility Coordinating Committee and RAC. Those are folks that actually have a committee process that we will put it on the agenda, and the committee itself will choose their representative. El Paso County Department of Public Health. I think we've got, is it Emma? Is that her name? Yeah, Emma from El Paso County was on it last year. We'd like to keep her because, again, there is a kind of a nexus there of using some of those public health funds for other sorts of things. And again, the Colorado Department of Transportation. Scott, did you do it last year?
Yeah, John, I did sit on it last year. And so really great committee that they had put together, and Lisa did a great job with it. So yeah, happy to sit on it this year as well.
Well, and again, because CDOT, there's not a CDOT committee, we'll just go to Shane. So as long as Shane says you can do it, then you can do it. And I believe that is it for the information I was supposed to convey to you as this information item, but happy to duck any questions. I mean, take any questions as I can. And if I can't answer them, I will definitely have Lisa get back to you later.
This is Matthew
John, would
from
anybody Please, Matthew.
Sorry. This is Matthew from MMT. We actually participated last year as well. I'd be happy to again.
Yeah. Okay. And I can't remember if that was that you were participating as the TAC rep. I think that's, but anyway, if you're not on the TAC rep, we can just go ahead and add one as an MMT rep. That's fine. There's no federal rule of how the committee has to be made up. So it makes sense to me. So I'm going to unilaterally say, yep, you're on. But whether or not TAC finds somebody else or TAC wants to make you it, that's up to TAC. But we're good. I'm good either way.
John, do you know when that may come back to TAC for I'll call it an action item to make that representative?
Like next month, right?
Yeah.
Next month?
Yep,
Okay.
she was intending next month.
Very good. Anybody have questions and feel like stumping John? Please jump in. Oh, sounds like you're off the hook, John. Thank you.
Yippee! And Matthew, they might just pick you as the TAC rep or your own rep. But either way, you're on.
Right. Do you have a transit update, John, for Lisa, or should we jump to IIJA grants?
I think we'll let, if MMT or Scott have something, or and then we did the Carson connector, but if anybody else have anything transit related they want to talk about? Go ahead, Matthew.
So two things. First, we're doing some rebranding of the ZEB, and I have some brochures here. So the ZEB or Route 13, that's the downtown shuttle. We're branding it now Downtown Ride, and then West Side Ride for Route 3 and Manitou Ride for Route 33. All three routes are fare free, and I have some brochures to pass out. And if anyone wants any schedules, there's also some stickers. So, and then just wanted to announce that customer service relocated to the downtown hub on July 8th. That's all I have.
Thank you, Matt. Any other transit updates from other partners?
Go ahead, Danielle.
Just for everybody's awareness, some of us had the opportunity last week to go to Fort Carson and chat with the Carson connector service there. Got a little demo of how the on-demand service works. Heard that they had done, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but 18,000 rides in the first 45 days of the program. Pretty impressive operation. It seemed like, not super familiar with on-demand transit, but it seemed like it was going very smoothly. They talked through a couple of, hiccups that they had with the early program that they were able to kind of smooth out, and how they were kind of dealing with some of those issues. And noted that they are currently at Fort Carson down 8,000 people due to deployment. So they're looking forward perhaps to getting those folks back, and also wondering what that's going to do to their ride demand as well. I believe Mike said they're right now averaging a 7-minute wait for rides. And the average ride is just over 10 minutes. So some interesting statistics.
Yeah, if I could add, Danelle, to that. So it was a great little tour that we had of the system there and everything. He's actually using, I think, it was like 10 vehicles to get those 18,000 people around. So it's pretty amazing what he's doing. He's using his drivers are retired military or spouses of the military. So really cool to see them all working together and everything. And Fort Carson has really welcomed them on there. I'd actually would love to have them present to TAC here once they get going, and to show everybody kind of the success that they have there. I think Mike's done a great job with what he has, and hopefully expand it to some of the other posts or bases around here. So yeah, thank you. I guess I can add on to for other transit stuff. So the Clean Transit Enterprise is coming out with a NOFA here pretty soon. It was supposed to be last month, but little delay in there. So that will be coming out for FY27. So please make sure that if anybody has received CTE money in the future or in the past, please reapply. And then if you are interested, definitely reach out to me and I can get you connected with Craig and we can talk about it and see what's eligible and everything like that. And then any other entities outside of the PPACG area that applied for 5310, 5311, and 5304. Right now we're doing reviews of those applications right now and should be getting those out. I believe August timeframe is what they're looking at to receive words on those. So this is separate from PPACG's 5310 call. So please be aware of that. And I think that is everything that I have right now. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other transit updates? All right, hearing none, we're turning back to Danelle for IIJA.
Yes, we had a lot of our big opportunities kind of end in July. The Attain Advanced Transportation Technology and Innovation NOFO is out right now, due July 27th. As far as state funding, kind of the same as last month. Safe Routes to School expected to open in August. Still waiting for more information on the Region 2 TAP and the off-system bridge and the HSIP. So we'll get you more information when we have it, but not a whole lot going on right this moment.
Thank you, Danelle. And CDOT updates.
Hey, real quickly before Aaron Willis gets to go, even though I told him he could go first. Sorry, Danelle. I think that Safe Routes to School is going to be run by Medora Bornhoff's group in conjunction with TAP, and that fall 2026 is a little bit more accurate. The last that we staff were told was expect an October notice of funding availability timeframe, most likely in conjunction with the October stack meeting. What is that, first Thursday, I think, is that schedule. That's all I have.
Thanks for saying that, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Aaron, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Just stepping in here, probably received some kind of email from Kathleen Collins. Kathleen will be retiring at the end of October, I believe. But in the interim, she'll be having a much reduced work schedule. So I will be stepping in for the moment, serving as your headquarters, your DTD liaison. So please feel free to reach out with any questions you might have for me. And I think that is the main part of my update. We are in the process of hiring some new planning liaisons from headquarters and working through the HR process now. So hopefully to be able to bring those new folks on board probably middle of August into late August. So thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. John Hall, do you have anything for us today? You may not even still be on. All right, any other CDOT updates?
Madam Chair, if I can, this might be the best place to kind of put this. I know maybe that the CDOT folks that are in the room and online are maybe not the folks that went out after the fire and put up a new bridge after one got burnt through one of the wildfires. I believe it was 11 hours. So I just want to take the time to say regionally, we really appreciate you guys at Region 2 and the fact that you kept the firefighting efforts delayed only 11 hours because of that bridge being burned out is just amazing. We're very lucky to have you guys, and again, we appreciate everything you do for the region and for the state. So thank you very much.
Please.
I will make sure to pass that information to our maintenance. Thank you.
Jeff, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thanks. Sorry, I forgot this, but John Hall chatted. He had to jump off, sorry, on his behalf. But he said, might mention that Shane had talked with Andy Gunning and the North Program Engineering staff about starting up the State Highway 94 study. Hopefully you guys know what he's talking about out there. I think that's a PEL, if memory serves correct, but I can come back to you guys with more info. That's all.
Thank you for that. I'm not surprised that's starting, so definitely will be looking forward to working with you on that. And I'm betting Colorado Springs as well. Member entity announcements. Anybody have anything for the good of the group?
Victoria, this is Josh here. I want
Josh.
to provide a quick update. PPACG staff is coordinating a regional human trafficking awareness and resource roundtable that'll be held on August 20th at 10 a.m. The goal of this event is to bring regional partners to share resources, training opportunities, and best practices relating and to responding to human trafficking. We have some confirmed presenters for the roundtable, including Truckers Against Trafficking, the Colorado Springs Police Department with the detective and the Human Trafficking Unit, and MMT confirmed presentation. Staff is still working on gathering some more presenters through the Colorado State Patrol and Women in Truckers organization. TAC members should have received a invitation, a calendar hold, and you are encouraged to share it with interested colleagues and partners and partner organizations that should attend. The agenda should be shared out by the beginning of August, but just wanted to put that on your radar. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Any other member entity announcements?
All I'll say, Madam Chair, is when we do the minutes, let's make sure that we know that Dan is here, Karen Rose here, and Lan is here. I think those are folks that we may have missed in the opening introductions, but they were present and should show up as present when we do the minutes. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, hearing any other announcements? Items for future tax. Sounds like we're going to have some action on the freight plan in the future. We're probably going to have tip amendments. We're going to have congestion mitigation stuff. Anything else you want to share with the group, John or Danelle or Josh?
Nope.
Okie dokie. Well, with that, final call for comments or questions. All right, with that, we are adjourned at 2:30. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.